Spotify, Apple, who else? Pandora, everybody that's listening to us around the world, thank you very much. Your Saltwater Guide. We have a phenomenal show for you today. Fish are biting really, really good. Both of our guides are out fishing right now. They were going to join us for the show, but they're both out fishing, and I can't get them to call me back because they're probably on the back side of the islands up there. Sonny's up at the Channel Islands, and Justin's out at Catalina. So we'll have to go without them today, but we have so much to talk about today. I don't think we're going to miss Justin and Sonny, unfortunately. I like having them on the shows after the weekends when they've been out there and having fun with our members of our website, yoursaltwaterguide.com. Both of the guys had a great weekend fishing. Justin connected some of the members with some phenomenal bass, barracuda, bonita fishing at Catalina, and then on Friday we connected one of the members with a 180-pound bluefin. It's just absolutely incredible. Sonny's been having a great time fishing up there at the Channel Islands. Lots of halibut. And now that bluefin sprinkling in along the Channel Islands. So it's going to be an incredible August and September. Fishing is just absolutely insane right now. So there's no reason to not go fishing, and it's only going to get better. And I hope that you take advantage of Your Saltwater Guide and you guys get on my website. You go out there and you enjoy yourself and have fun with your family, fun with your friends and your kids and everybody, and get out there and go fishing. But today, we got to talk about these windmills again one more time, gang, because my good friend Pete gave me an environmental impact report that just came out from the state of California, and they kind of put this thing underneath the blankets, and they don't want anybody to read it or see it. But it's absolutely astonishing what they've got. The environmental impact came out, and I just want you to understand, any of you guys in the construction field, any of you that have to go out and get permits, the things I'm going to read to you on this environmental impact report, and I can't post it because I don't have permission from the state of California to post this, but I can definitely tell you about it, and I can definitely talk about it, because it's public record, but I don't have permission to post a copy of the environmental impact report, but we're going to talk about it here. And what they have planned here, gang, is these windmills that they're going to build off of a coast that has been protected for so long. So many animals, so many whales and dolphins and sea lions and birds and just otters and just so much stuff that really the United States citizens really, really cared about the whole time I was growing up. These are things that everyone cared about, started caring about a lot in the 60s, and we saw TV commercials and we saw ads and we saw stuff about save the whales, save the otters, save the sea lions, save the birds. All these things that are going to get impacted in a very negative way. In the state of California, it's absolutely amazing to me. Just to give you an idea of what they have planned. They've already signed it, Saul. The President of the United States of America went up and did some under-the-table handshakes with the governor of California, and they did some things where none of us were allowed to see what they were doing, but they did it, and it's already done, and it's already going to happen, and there's not a thing you or I can do about it. We had nothing to do with voting on it or anything to do with it. This is just happening. They're going to take an area just smaller than Hong Kong. The wind energy companies got this already done. They've already paid off. The President of the United States and the governor of the state of California have already gotten their money, and it's all done, and the handshakes have already been made. It's going to be 376 square mile area. Okay? These windmills are going to be the height of the Statue of Liberty, and they're going to spread, one windmill is going to, the blades and everything are going to spread out across 2.5 football fields, one one windmill. This is amazing, gang, what they've got planned. And no one's talking about it. You don't see anything on the news. You don't hear any commercials about this. These are going to be these are supposed to, one windmill is supposed to give 15 megawatts of power, enough to, they think, if it works, and they're seeing if it works in England right now, and they're seeing if it'll work. It doesn't work yet, but they've already got these things set up in the Netherlands and in Denmark, and they're trying to see if they'll work. They haven't worked yet, but they have them set up there. And here's the problem so far, that what everyone can put their fingers on and everyone's seen, and the windmills off of the Atlantic Ocean, they can put their fingers on these things and they can see that they're killing the northern right whale, the humpback whales, sperm whales, very, very countless amounts of dolphins. They can't even count the amount. But this is just what's happening that we can put our fingers on and we can all see. And they're actually, unfortunately for the lying media, it's hard to cover this up because these animals are floating up on the beaches. And that's where you're starting to see them, on the beaches in New Jersey, along the beach coastline, the eastern seaport. These giant mammals that we protected as hard as we could possibly protect anything, until now, they're not protected anymore. Now it's just a sacrifice of green energy. It's absolutely mind-boggling. But here, I'm going to read you the environmental impact report just so you can understand what we're talking about. So the number one thing on the environmental impact is demographic, employment, and economics. This is the very first thing on the environmental impact report for the windmills that they are already signed off on and they're already building, and you and I had nothing to do with it, even though it's the United, remember that word, United States of America, right? That's what our forefathers fought for, united. That means we're all supposed to be involved in this, but this one we're not involved in, gang. And if you don't understand that, you need to understand it, because it has a genuine effect of all of us. The first thing on the list is distribution of commercial fishing for higher recreational fishing. That means sport boats. The marine recreational business during offshore construction and cable installation will all be shut down. Okay. Hindrance to ocean economy sectors due to the presence of offshore wind facilities, including commercial fishing, recreational fishing, sailing, sightseeing, which is whale watching and bird watching, and any other type of business that's supported with that. That's number one on this environmental impact report. Okay, that's a big one, because that's where the money gets generated for all these mom and pop businesses on the coastline of Northern and Central California. Everything's impacted by the whale watch boats and the sport fishing boats and the private boats and the sailboats and all that, the coffee shops, the donut shops, the fuel docks, the ice companies, anything and everything that has to do, the truck driver, like Tommy Gomes was saying a couple weeks ago on our show. All this impacts everybody, all right? So that's the first environmental impact. Second, environmental justice. Compounded health issues of local environmental justice communities near ports as a result of the air quality impact from the emissions from the engines associated with vessel traffic, construction activities, and equipment operation. See, they're addressing everything that I've talked about till my head fell off. I've been talking about this for a year. We do this show Monday through Friday, 5 days a week. It's about fishing, and it's about whale watching, and it's about going outside and being with your children. But I've been telling you about this windmill thing that's going to absolutely devastate anything we have left in California as far as going outside and going out on the water. And now now it's in writing and it's on paper and it's been presented for public to see it. There's nothing we can do about it. But it's here to be seen, and you can pull this environmental impact of these offshore windmills in Morro Bay. You can pull this up and you can read it yourself. I just don't have permission to show it to you, but I'm reading it. Here's the other thing, environmental justice. Loss of employment or income due to disruption to commercial fishing for hire, recreational fishing, or marine recreational businesses. And number 3 on the environmental justice, hindrance to subsistence fishing due to offshore construction and operation to the offshore. Subsistence fishing, that's fishing for food for us. That's the shrimp guy, the guy's catching the spot prawns, the guy's catching your abalone, the guy's catching your lobsters, the guy catching your rockfish. All these people are out of business, okay? Here's the next thing. Number 3, finfish, invertebrates, and essential fish habitat. Remember when we used to care about that? Remember when the MLPs were made and they told us that it was all about the habitat for the fish and we have to save the habitat? And if you go in there fishing, you're ruining the habitat. Well, apparently now that does not matter anymore either. And I'll tell you, like I've been telling you, nothing matters now except for this new Green Deal, which we all know is the biggest bunch of baloney they've ever fed to us. But here's what's going to happen. Temporary loss within the bay due to cable placement. Suspension and resetting of sediment due to seafloor disturbance. That means your halibut, your sand dabs, your shrimp, anything that lives in the sand, we don't care about them anymore. You're gone. See ya. Because we got to build these windmills that don't work, but we're going to do it anyway because we already signed the $1 billion deal behind the curtain. So it's already happening. Displacement, disturbance, and avoidant behavior due to construction-related impacts, including noise, vessel traffic, increased turbidity, sediment distribution, individual mortality due to construction activities. That means we're just going to kill stuff full speed. Doesn't matter because we got to have green energy. And then habitat quality impacts, including reduction in certain habitats and types of habitat of the seafloor alteration. Okay, gang, that goes back to what we all gave up when they took the MLPs and forced it down our throats and made us all, they told us it was to save the habitat. Well, now we're just destroying habitat. It's okay though, because we're building these windmills that aren't going to work. And then the conversion of the soft bottom habitat to new hard bottom habitat. Well, listen, the animals that live in the soft bottom, they can't live in the hard bottom. So you just took away all their habitat. Gang, I'm not making this up. This is on the environmental impact report that you can all read. This is not made up, but I don't have permission to show it to you because we don't want to get sued. Okay, here's number 1, 2, 3. Here's number 4, land use and coastal infrastructure. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to take the marshlands and the wetlands and all those areas that we were going to protect. We're not protecting those anymore either, ladies and gentlemen, because we got to build these windmills. Okay, so conversion of undeveloped areas and utilities right of way or easements or cable maintenance or replacement. That's across the wetlands. Land use disturbance due to construction as well as effects due to noise, vibration, and travel delays. Gang, I hope you're all listening to this. This is absolutely unbelievable. This is happening off of Morro Bay. This is an area that is roughly 17 miles off of Morro Bay, and this is the U.S. government that's doing this. This isn't anybody else. It's actually 376 square miles of the ocean off of Morro Bay. Those of you that haven't been with us the whole time, and I'm reading the brand new environmental impact report on the ocean and on the animals and on the seafloor and on that has a definite effect on my life, in your life, in our livelihood, and the animals that we thought we were protecting when we gave up all of our areas to fish because they were going to save the habitat, which was a bunch of crap too, because we don't ever destroy habitat when we fish in it. That's not part of the deal. When we go fishing, we do not destroy habitat. But this is absolutely destroying habitat. And they did an environmental report. And if you or I were going to build something, you and I were, not the government, but you and I, we would be shut down in a New York second. But not here. No, because it's for green energy. I'm sorry, I'm pissed, and I'm just telling the truth. Okay? Here we go. Land use or coastal No, we just did marine. Okay. Marine mammals. Remember, my father started whale watching in California in 1967. So this one's near and dear to my heart. And also, I grew up in the 60s when everything was about save the whales, save the whales, save the otters, save the sea lions, save all the marine mammals. Save them, save them, save them. Nothing mattered more than the smartest animal on the planet, dolphins. Well, watch this, because now this does not matter at all anymore. Okay? What we all thought the United States government cared about the whales. Well, they don't care about the whales. Pay attention. Okay? Share this with your friends. Listen to this podcast. This is real. I'm not making this stuff up. This is on the Environmental Impact Report, done by people way, way smarter than me or you. Okay. Marine mammals. Here's number one on their environmental impact for the marine mammals. Number one, increased risk of injury to individuals due to underwater noise from the pile driving activities during the construction. Number two, disturbance, behavioral effects. That means the whales or the dolphins or the otters or the sea lions aren't going to get to do what they normally do, because now we're going to do this. Disturbance, behavioral effects, and acoustics masking due to underwater noise from pile driving, shipping, other vessel traffic, aircraft, geographical surveys, WTG operations, and dredging during construction and operation will all have an adverse effect on the marine mammals. And we all know it will, because we're watching them all wash up on the beaches on the eastern seaboard and in Netherlands and Denmark and everywhere else. They've tried to shove this bullshit down. Shove this crap down our throats. And the people of the Netherlands and the people in Finland, they can't even afford the energy that will be created from these windmills, because it's going to be so expensive. But you can't replace all these whales and dolphins and otters that are getting killed by this. But it's okay now, because it's green energy. I can't make this up, gang. Number 3 on the Marine Mammals Environmental Impact Report: increased risk of injury and mortality due to the vessel strikes that are going to be operated in the area. Number 4, increased risk of individual injuries and mortality associated with the cable gear. Then 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 6, navigation and vessel traffic in the area that they're building these windmills. There'll be congestion in the port channels. Number 2, increased navigational complexity, vessel congestion, and Allison risk within the offshore wind farms area. 3, potential for disruption to marine radar and smaller vessel operations within the vicinity of the project, increasing navigational complexity. Number 4, hindrance to the SAR mission within the offshore wind farm area. That's incredible, because the SARs, those were part of the MLPs. They were going to protect forever. Well, throw that out the window, gang. I'm just reading this exactly how it was written by the powers to be in the state of California. Like I say, any other project that you or I were involved in, that would be shut down. But this is the United States government, so it's okay, because it's for green energy, which ain't gonna happen. And then number 1, other uses. disruption to offshore scientific research and surveys and species monitoring and assessments, because they won't be able to do that anymore in this area because this has been leased out to the green energy companies. Increased navigational complexity for the military and national security vessels operating within the wind farm. So what you're telling me is that green energy is more important than the safety of the citizens of the United States of America, because now our naval vessels are going to have a really hard time protecting our coastline, because these giant messes that they're setting up out there are going to make it impossible for them to navigate. I'm just reading this right off the environmental impact report. I'm not making this up. And then here's a really, really smart one. Changes to aviation and air traffic navigational patterns. Gang, this is right off the environmental impact report. People have posted this on Facebook and YouTube and TikTok and Instagram. I haven't, because I got too much to lose. I don't have permission to post it. You can go read it. You can go see what it's all about. I've been telling you guys about this for a very long time. This is real. This is happening. There's nothing we can do to stop it. It's absolutely unbelievable. It's absolutely ludicrous. I can't believe that they're allowing this, especially in California. How they've destroyed the state of California with all this green crap is absolutely mind-boggling. But at the end of the day, let's just pretend like that windmill actually created some type of power, which it won't in our lifetime. But let's just pretend like it did. At the end of the day, you and I won't be able to afford that kind of power, because the key to civilization is affordable energy. Well, we're not going to be able to afford that energy, gang. We're just not. It's not going to be affordable. It's not going to be sustainable, and it's not going to happen. I'm not making this up. I'm reading it right off the environmental impact report. I've been talking about it for a very, very long time. The area is pretty big. That's the area off of Morro Bay. It's hard. I don't want to get in trouble, but it's a giant, it's like a state, the piece of water that they leased. And these energy companies are going to go in there and do this. I just needed to talk about that this morning. If you have any insight on this, or if you don't think I'm telling the truth, go look it up, go read about it, go see what I'm talking about. All the little shady deals have been made way behind the curtain. We had nothing to do with it, even though citizens of the United States of America, that means we're all supposed to be a part of any of these decisions. We're not allowed to be a part of any of these decisions anymore. It's pretty sad if you think about it. All the animals that are going to be devastated, all the things that are going to happen, all because of some baloney called green energy, which it's going to be the furthest thing from green energy. You can't make one of these windmills without burning hundreds of thousands of gallons of diesel fuel. It just can't happen. We don't have any way to build this stuff without the diesel. You have no way to get these things out there off of Morro Bay without diesel fuel, without big ships towing this stuff around, and all the different impacts that I just read you. The amount of negative, and then on the environmental impact, they don't have a page that shows you the pro part of this, the good part, the part that they think it's going to benefit. It's not going to benefit anything. One whale dies because of this is too many. They made us, I say us because I consider myself a fisherman. They made the fishermen back east pull all their lobster traps out of the water for the slight chance that a northern right whale may get tangled up in their lobster gear, which has never happened in the history of lobster fishing on the East Coast. Then they made the Dungeness crab guys pull all their gear out of the water because they told them that on the West Coast, because of the whale migration is what they used. But here we are. We've already decided that we are going to kill X amount of whales and X amount of dolphins. And they can't really even tell you that's the exact amount that are going to die. But they want to pretend like they know the number. But you don't know how many whales are going to swim into that cable. You don't know how many dolphins are going to get their head, that disturbance of their sonar because of all that noise happening there. You don't know how many birds are going to get grinded up into those salad shooters like Tommy Gomes calls them. We don't know, but we just know the impact is going to be devastating to all these animals that we used to care so much about, and everything that we talked about and everything that we saw on TV and everything that we read about growing up in the 60s, 70s, and 80s was all about saving all these animals. And now they don't care anymore, and it's just mind-boggling to me. I just don't get it. It doesn't make any sense. But I had to bring that up. I promised some of my friends that do care about the ocean and do care about the environment and do care about marine mammals. I told them all that I would bring this up and talk about it today because we have a giant voice, gang. We're across all social media. This show's live every day, Monday through Friday, and we're on Spotify, and we're on Pandora, and we're on Megaphone, and we're on Apple. We're on every kind of place where you could possibly have a podcast. I'm on every podcast, and I'm on every piece of social media, so they're going to hear. I think there's too many dolphins. For God's sakes, no, Luke, that's crazy. That is the craziest thing I've ever heard of in my life. No, but dolphins are the coolest animal on the planet. I put my mother's ashes in a big pot of dolphins. No, there's not too many dolphins. There's too many dumb people. Absolutely. There's too many really dumb people. There's way too many really dumb people on the planet. If we're going to start worrying about things, let's worry about the dumb people. Yeah. Anybody that thinks this is a good idea, anybody that thinks this is a good idea, it's got to be, I don't know. They got to be really lame. Crazy, though. Absolutely crazy. So that's first half of the show. The second half, we're going to be talking fishing. We're talking about fishing because I know that's what most people are tuned in for. You want to hear. But this is so important to understand what the backdoor dealings are for us as fishermen. And we're all fishermen. I don't care if you're a commercial fisherman or you go fishing for fun. This is real. This is happening. And it's a backdoor baloney deal that's just been shoved down our throats. And gang, think about this. You think they're just going to stay off of Morro Bay? It's going to be too hard to build them up there. Way too hard. You have no idea how hard it's going to be to build them up there. This is going to come down to Southern California and San Diego. It's coming. They're doing some backdoor dealings like you can't even believe. So you all think it's out of sight, out of mind? Just hang on and wait. It's coming to your house. It's coming to your backyard. They're coming. And they're coming to Texas. And they're coming to Florida. And they're coming everywhere. This Green Deal, this new Green Deal, the worst thing that's ever happened to the United States of America. It's gonna be the end. It's so sad because we can't afford the energy that they're trying to shove down our throats. None of us can. It's just really, really sad. It's really sad. So, all right, let's talk about fishing, gang. Let's get on a happy note. Today is Opsin Fluorocarbon Monday. We always talk about Opsin Fluorocarbon, and Thomas, you get the free spool of Opsin Fluorocarbon, Tommy. So text me your address, and Greg will drop you off that free spool of Opsin Fluorocarbon. Gang, if you don't know what's going on, every Monday, Opsin gives away a free spool of Opsin Fluorocarbon. All you have to do is go over here to Opsin USA, go through that QR code. Those of you on TikTok or Spotify or Apple or Megaphone, when you're in there at Opsin, just put in the code YSWG. That way, Elliot has a way to track you. And then what happens is once a week, we just go through all the names, and Kelly Girl picks a name out of the hat, and we give away a free spool of line. So congratulations, Tommy, on your line. Gang, when you're in there, you're going to want to get some ops. You want fluorocarbon when you go fishing. Let's be honest. You want fluorocarbon. Because you want the connection between your hook and your reel to have some invisibility. You do not want the fish to be able to see the line. That's when fluorocarbon came out. It was such a bitchin' thing. It took those of us old timers a while to get behind it and stand behind it. But now there's never a time where I'm out there fishing and I go, dang, I wish I didn't have a piece of fluorocarbon on my line. No, it's almost always, dang, I need a piece of fluorocarbon because it doesn't reflect the light. It's invisible when it hits the water, pretty much. Monofilament reflects the light still. It does in a little tiny way, but it does. Where fluorocarbon, when it touches the water, it's not reflecting the light. So it makes it really clean connection between your hook and your line. And then the really cool thing about this fluorocarbon is it's clear. So, and another thing I like about it is the way, I don't know why anybody didn't do this. And if they did, they forgot to tell anybody, but Opsin, Greg put a little magnet in each spool so they connect to each other. So slap it together. Like I show on a few of my videos, I put my hooks right on top of here and my hooks stick right to the spool line. I throw the spool line on the bait tank. That's a really interesting feature of the Opsin, is the way that the spool's all magnetically hooked together. Also, Opsin is made in a foreign country, but it's all spooled up right here in beautiful Southern California at Greg's house. It's a family operation. There are many, many, many companies that that sell fluorocarbon. Greg's family owned in Southern California. Greg Brown, you're going to get the benefit of understanding that you're supporting a family in Southern California when you buy the Opsin fluorocarbon. Also, the reason I really love Opsin is because it's clear. When I saw this the first time when I was doing a podcast for Phil Freeman, he had Greg in there and he brought some donuts and I love donuts. So that caught my attention. And then I'm like, what do you got? He showed me this line. It's a clear fluorocarbon. I know they make pinks and blues and reds and all that stuff. And I think all that stuff's great. It catches fishermen. And I know your sister's brother's aunt, cousin caught a fish on a piece of red fluorocarbon once. That's fine. But that takes away everything that fluorocarbon stands for. Fluorocarbon is a way to connect your hook to your main line with something that's invisible. So when you start to put color on it, you can see it. I don't believe that that's what you want when you're using fluorocarbon. I don't think you should want to be able to see the line. That's just me. Also, the abrasion resistance is phenomenal compared to monofilament. So check out Opsin. Go over there to the website just by simply entering the website. Elliot will know who you are. We'll grab that name. We'll give away another free spool of Opsin fluorocarbon next Monday. Thank you all for visiting. Thanks for downloading that QR code. And everybody over on all the other platforms, just go in there and visit opsinusa.com. And then in the code, put in YSWG. And then if you're really feeling froggy, go ahead and purchase some Opsin fluorocarbon. And through the QR code, you automatically save 10% on your purchase. And then when you put in the code, if you're not going through the QR code, but when you put in YSWJ, you save 10% on your spool of fluorocarbon. It's with what's going on today in America, it's kind of cool to save a little money on something. And we all need fluorocarbon. You're going to buy it anyway. You might as well save a little money on it when you buy it. All right, so let's talk about the fishing in Southern California. This is very important. We talked about it a little bit last week. What you don't understand, gang, is you're only seeing the guys that are catching, are the people, guys. There's plenty of women out there catching too. You're only seeing the people that are catching. There is nobody posting reports on social media saying, well, fishing sucked today and I suck and I don't know what I'm doing and I'm just a crappy fisherman and I suck and I suck. You don't see those reports unless you're over on my website, yoursaltwaterguide.com. Then the people are over there. You may try all that you want, Cub. I will send you a bunch of spools of it, buddy. No problem, Cub. Good to see you on the show, buddy. I love you. Miss you. Can't wait to see you down here in Cabo. Gang, what's going on out here in Southern California as far as the tuna fishing goes, it's not easy by any stretch of the imagination, but it is biting, and people are having great days out there on the water. Kevin's boys went out fishing the other day, and they're very, very good fishermen, and they missed because it's not easy, gang. It requires a ton of looking, a ton of looking. Most people don't even have a pair of binoculars on their boat, and they go out tuna fishing. Our good friend Jim Kingsmill, when he was on the show talking about the Fraser Mariner gyro stabilizing binoculars, told everybody, if you're not looking, you're probably not catching. So if you're not looking, you're probably fishing for boat. Hey, Ross, nice to see you, booger eater. But you gang, it's all about paying attention and looking at the water. And I summed it up perfect for one of our members on Friday when he called me and asked me what he should be doing. I said, you got to go look for anything that's not water. He was like, that's a good one, Dave. That's great. I never thought of it like that. That's exactly how you have to think of it, gang. You're out there looking around for anything that's not water. Because if it's not water, there's a good chance it's got tuna around it. Or it might even be tuna. Birds, kelp, trash can lid, stuff just floating out there in the water can be all holding tuna. All of it can be holding tuna. So you got to be paying attention, and you got to really, really pay attention the whole time you're out there. It's super important to pay attention. Okay? That's going to save you a tremendous amount of time on water of catching nothing. If you get a good pair of binoculars and you spend your time when you're on your boat actually looking for fish. But the good thing about what's going on right now is there's really good barracuda fishing, really good bonita fishing, really good calico bass fishing, mixed with a handful of yellows at all the islands. And along the coast, the fishing's really, really good. There's just one little dead zone there between Salt Creek and the barn. And I think that's purely because the people in that zone aren't actually out there looking for the fish that swim around in 12 to 15 fathoms of water. The other areas, the Long Beach area, they're whaling on them. Down in San Diego, they're whaling on them. It's very, very good fishing along the Southern California coast. Barracuda and bass fishing is phenomenal. Don't get discouraged if you're not catching. If you're getting over this tuna thing, spending thousands of dollars a day driving around trying to find a tuna that you can't find because you don't have a good pair of binoculars, go fish the islands. Go fish Salt Creek. Go fish the Horseshoe. Go fish Point Loma. Go fish La Jolla. Go fish Catalina. Go fish the Coronado Islands. All these places are biting very, very well right now, and very, very easy kind of fishing, summertime fishing. The 3 Bs is what Southern California was built on. If you watch some of the old interviews on my website, yoursaltwaterguide.com, you'll see what I'm talking about. Old timers, guys way older than me that have been fishing for 50, 60, 70, 80 years for a living in Southern California. And they talk about the 3 Bs. That's what they love to fish: bass, barracuda, and bonita. And that's what we have going on right now in Southern California. It's pretty fun fishing. Summertime fishing's pretty damn fun. Something when you're out there, gang. This is new. We got them. They're available. My good buddy John has them in his hands in San Diego. The flags are available, gang. If you don't know what we're talking about, your saltwater guide, gang, our flags are available. I got 100 of them printed. Everybody said they wanted them. They cost me total out the door, tax, everything, $28.90 for me to get them. I'm selling them for $29.99. $29.99. I'm not trying to make any money off them. I just want the money back that I spent on them. The guy that has them in his hands, John Stanley, will tell you he has the receipt. We're not playing hide the ball. But those of you that want these flags, they're available to you. You can get them from John. You call me, or John Stanley has them. You can send us the $29.99 right through that QR code right there. Everybody said you wanted them. I put the money out of my pocket to print them for you. What does this do? Well, first of all, it identifies you as a member of the website so that the other boats around you understand that you're not a booger eater and you're not going to shut off their bite. Also, you can work together as a team. You got these flags flying on your boat. You guys can all work together. There's a commitment I made to you so you can all identify each other. Now with over 4,000 members of the website, this is kind of a cool deal. We're going to piss off a lot of the sport boat captains when they come to the spot that they thought was theirs, and they're going to see you anchored up on it because you got there before they did. And then there's my flag flying. It's going to be incredible. It's going to be fun. You guys, anybody that wants a flag, and those are the flags, that's what they look like, call me up at 949-374-0786 or grab the QR code right there, and you can grab those flags. Just let me or John know how you want to pick them up. I'm not sending people to John's house, but John lives in San Diego, and he's going to help me facilitate getting these things out to you. And then I'll be up there for the Bill Shedd Conservation Award dinner at SeaWorld, and I'll grab the rest of them, and we'll try to disperse them out to all the people that pre-ordered them or bought them. But pretty good looking little flag, right? Looks pretty cool. I think they're going to go good on your boat. They're going to look good on your boat. Here, John's got another picture here that he sent me of the flag mounted up on his flag holder on his boat. That looks pretty bitchin', right? It's going to be pretty cool, gang. You want to get a flag. You want to have a flag. You want to have them flying out there. It's just going to bring that camaraderie that we're trying to build in this fishing industry, because like I tell all my members, gang, I've been doing this for a living for a very, very long time. I kind of helped build the sewer that we created in the 70s and 80s, where we shared nothing with anybody. We never let anybody know what we were doing. My dad, he owned a pile of sport fishing boats since he's been in the industry since 1947. We've been around for a while. I helped create the sewer, which we didn't share anything. We didn't like the private boaters. We didn't want the private boaters out there on the water. We thought we owned everything and we were the kings. And back in the late 80s, early 90s, I hooked up with Phil Freeman and Jason and Ali over at Bloody Decks, and Fish Dope and Phil Freeman over at 976 Tuna, and we started sharing all this stuff. And I thought it was super important to start to share it with everybody. And then 5 years ago, I built my website, and we break it down and we make it super easy for everybody to catch fish in Southern California. If you haven't been to our website yet, gang, it is something no one's ever done before. And I know your sisters, brothers, aunts, cousin told you could go get all this information on, you can go grab all this information on YouTube. You don't need to be on someone's website. Really? Who is posting all this information that you get on Your Saltwater Guide on YouTube? That's fished for 48 years for a living, or that's family's been in the sport fishing industry since 1947. Or that can call up any one of the captains that have been doing this for more than 10 minutes, or the Instagram superstar captains. We don't call them, but we call the real captains, and we get real-time information on the water from them. Also, you see them all the time on our Friday shows, real captains that you all grew up with, thinking, man, it would be cool to get in their heads. Well, that's all the stuff you get over at yoursaltwaterguide.com, gang. You get to get into all these captains' heads and find out what they're doing, why they're doing it, where they're doing it at. Check out my website, yoursaltwaterguide.com. Check out that QR code, gang. Jump on there. We also built the best app ever made for fishing. I don't care where you're fishing at. My app covers any kind of fish that you want to catch. And we cover all the areas and all the spots in California. And then our game plan comes out every Thursday, so you don't have to suck when you take your friends and family out fishing on the weekend. You can actually catch fish with your friends and family. So do yourself and do your friends and do your family a favor and download my app. Check out my website. Jump on it. Call me, 949-374-0786. I'll give you a free look. It's free, absolutely free. It won't hurt. I have no way to get in your pocket or your wallet. If you're taking a free look, it's a free look. Go check it out. But the stuff you get on my website, you don't get on YouTube. I'm just sorry, it doesn't happen. And if you were able to gather some information, you'd have to go watch 50 booger eaters telling you 50 different ways to do something, using big, giant words that they have no idea what they mean, just so that they sound intelligent. Also, from this point forward, gang, when you're listening to someone tell you something, and the first thing they say is, you know, because I hear this all the time on a lot of these videos I watch just to see what other people are doing, and they're going, you know. No, I flipping don't know. If I knew, I wouldn't be watching you, you booger eater. If you hear the person saying, you know, well, obviously they don't know. Because if they knew, they wouldn't be saying, you know, because if you knew, you wouldn't be watching. And then the other thing is when they go, that's because they're looking for words because they don't really have a clue what the hell they're talking about. So they're searching for words. You don't ever hear any of that on my website or here or on my game plans or on my Hot Spots videos. You don't hear any of that because I already know what I'm talking about. I've been talking about it for 48 years. I try to share all my information with all of you. And it's real-time information. And then the very best part, I think, of the whole website of everything is the community that we've built. Like these flags that are going to only help the community. All the different things that... well, Mike Lewis, you can call me because you got my phone number and we'll get you taken care of, I promise. But gang, all this information is available. But the really cool thing is that we built this phenomenal community. So if you're over on the website, if you're on the app and you hit the community or you hit the fish reports, you see people just like yourself sharing what they're doing out on the water. It's all the members. And they constantly are sharing what they're doing on the water. But here's the key. On all other social media platforms or on any other website, when you share something, you usually get beat up by all the booger eaters. I allow zero negativity on my website. There's plenty of negativity in the world. So when you're over on our community with our 4,000 plus members, you're sharing real-time fishing information with real-time people that really want to know about fishing. There are no guys sitting in their mom's basement calling you a booger eater because you asked a simple question, which way was the current flowing at White Rock yesterday when you caught all those yellowtail. That's the kind of stuff that people are talking about and answering. Plus, they're giving you the exact location where they caught their fish, the exact time they caught their fish, how they caught their fish. I don't think there's anything else out there like that. So you might want to check all that out. I'm just saying it's a kinder, softer website. There's probably, right now, we got a couple hundred people watching the show live. We probably got 50 people that I can see right now that are members of the website that are on here that are going to tell you it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, gang, because it gives us a feeling of belonging to a group that actually cares about each other. That's the missing thing here in the United States of America anymore. People don't care about each other anymore. We're trying to change that over on our website, and I believe we really are, because I read all the good things and I hear all the good things from all the members and I see all the camaraderie that we're building. So you might want to just check it out because it is pretty cool. And if you're the greatest fisherman in the world, share some of your experience, strength, and hope with the rest of us so that we can all become better. Get on our website and get over on our community and start sharing some of the great things you already know. Nobody is ever going to beat anybody up on our website over talking. It's just not going to happen. So check it all out. It's really, really a bitchin' way to do it all. It's really a cool way to get involved in this fishing thing. But let's talk a little bit more. We got about 10 minutes left about this fishing thing. So what's going on right now up in Huntington? From Huntington Beach to the middle of LA Harbor is out there on the horseshoe down to the flats is that barracuda and sand bass that we haven't seen in a very, very long time. We haven't seen that migratory fish show up and it has showed up and it is biting really good. I don't know when it happened or how it happened, but people aren't really turned on too much about barracuda anymore. But that was the lifeblood of the sport fishing industry in California back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 30s, 20s, way back in the day. And now no one wants the barracuda except the people that understand and know, gosh, there's nothing better than getting Cubby to smoke us some barracuda. Holy moly, that's some good stuff. Our teriyaki barracuda. The barracuda is a great table fare if you know how to take care of it, you know how to cook it. The sand bass are biting, and it's really fun fishing down in La Jolla, all the way down to the Mexican border. There's barracuda on the edges of the kelp. There's calico bass biting on the edges of the kelp. It's very, very fun fishing. It's all about that current. You got to have a little bit of current down south, a little bit more. Not so much the barracuda and sand bass grounds. You don't want a lot of current. It makes it tougher to fish. Little trickle of current, either direction will work. But at Catalina and down at the Coronados, there's very good barracuda fishing, very good calico bass fishing, fun bonita fishing. Over at Clemente, there's bonita up to 12 pounds that guys are reporting they're catching big, big bonita mixed in with the yellowtail and the calico bass. That yellowtail is pretty much all over the front side of Clemente and down into the cove. And all the stuff that we're talking about, all the information is all available one more time at my website, yoursaltwaterguide.com. If you want all the spots, we have spots. We have over 1,100 spots on the website now. I made these spots videos back in 1989 with Danny Jackson, and Danny Jackson, myself, Joe Berrien, Pete Gray, Don Brockman, Jack Kimnitz. There was a bunch of us that were involved in giving away all our hot spots up and down the coast, and we broke it into a library. And we sold VHS tapes back then, and then we turned it into DVDs and sold them. And I know you can still find a few of that things at some of the old time tackle shops, but I took that 5 years ago and I put it into a digital format, put it available on my website for all of you. And not only do I give you GPS numbers, but I explain to you how to fish each and every one of the 1,100 spots on the spots videos, gang. And then I answer my phone. If you call me, I answer my phone. I help all my members out all the time. I want to see them catch fish more than they do. I know it's hard to believe, but that's I run my business just like I ran the boats that I ran and the yachts that I ran. I take care of my passengers. I take care of my people. I think everybody matters and everybody should have a voice. And if we all start sharing everything, it's going to make it a kinder, softer, easier fishing world out there. So understand that and be careful out there. Be careful who you listen to. Be careful where you spend your money. And if you're having thoughts about, hey, I don't know if I should buy this or buy that or buy this boat or buy that boat, you can always call me. 949-374-0786. I will help you out. Don't spend any money until you call me. I'll tell you why you want to spend your money on this, and I'll tell you why you don't want to spend your money on this. Make sure you check out my flags. Make sure you get. And one last thing I want to tell you, because a couple of our members were talking about this, and they